Hello friends, welcome to engineering tutorial. We'll continue our discussion with the atomic models. So far we have discussed about the Dalton's atomic theory, Thomson's model, Rutherford's model and Chadwick's model of the atom. So in this video we are going to discuss about the Bohr's model. Like I said, the Bohr's model and Schrodinger's model, it is more or less the basic foundation of the modern atomic theory. It is based on these two models. Okay, so before we go in detail discussing about Bohr's model, let us just have a quick look about what Rutherford and Chadwick's model was all about. Okay, so according to Rutherford and Chadwick's model, the atom, it consists of three subatomic particles: electrons, protons and neutrons. Okay, so protons and neutrons, they are present in the nucleus and they are responsible for most of the mass of the atom. But the volumes or space occupied by the proton and the neutrons in the nucleus, it is very less as compared to the overall size of the atom. And the electrons, they revolve around the nucleus, but there was no information about the exact location of the electrons, the direction in which they move, their orientation. Nothing was mentioned about that. Only this much. So the problem with Rutherford's and Chadwick's model was that as electrons they move around the nucleus, they will have a force of attraction towards the positive charge, okay, present in the nucleus. Okay, positive and negative, they will attract each other, so they will be accelerated towards the nucleus, and as they spiral into the nucleus, they will annihilate itself with the proton. Each electron will annihilate itself with the proton because they have opposite charges. So the electron and proton will get annihilated with each other. The electron proton pair will get annihilated because they have opposite charge. So an atom should not be stable if we follow this theory, but we know that everything around us is stable, it is there, it is present. So there is something wrong with the approach, with the Rutherford's model approach. There was something wrong, because if we follow that theory, then atom should not be stable, and if atom is not stable, then everything around us should not be stable. So a different approach as compared to Rutherford's model, yes, the basis was there, but the explanation related to the movement of electrons around the nucleus, it required a more improved and refined touch. So at that time, when there was discussion related to the explanation related to the atomic structure, many physicists, they were of the, or scientists, they were of the view that the atom, it consists of electrons, protons and neutrons. They all agreed on that, but they had a view, they visualized the atom as the protons and the neutrons present in the nucleus, which is the center of the atom, and the electrons, they revolved around the nucleus in circular orbits. Okay, circular or elliptical orbits. So it more or less it was a good model to have because it matched with the motion of the planets around the sun. So they visualized that this could be the ideal model to go for. Okay, to visualize, to conceptualize what and the overall structure of the atom is like in terms of the subatomic particles. So this was considered to be a good model, and taking it forward, Niels Bohr postulated and put forward the Bohr's atomic model. Okay, so the Bohr's atomic model, which was given by Niels Bohr, he said that the electrons in the atom, they are allowed to occupy only certain orbits of fixed radius. Okay, he considered everything about Rutherford's and Chadwick's model, but related to the movement of electrons around the nucleus, he gave some postulates, and as a result, the stability of the atom could be explained. Okay, so the postulates of Bohr's atomic model, there were some rules related to that. So according to Bohr's theory, the atom, it consists of a positively charged nucleus, which consists of protons and neutrons, which is the same as Rutherford and Chadwick's model. And around the nucleus, around the center of the atom, the negatively charged electrons, they revolved in circular orbits. So only orbits of certain fixed radius are allowed. Okay, and each electron revolving in a particular orbit, it has certain fixed amount of energy associated with it, which is directly proportional to the radius of the orbit. So as the orbit, the size of the orbit, it increased, the energy associated with it also increased. Okay, so if we consider this structure, the atomic structure, okay, we are taking an example of silicon atom with atomic number 14, so it has 14 electrons. So we have the nucleus in the center and the electrons revolving around in specific orbits. We'll go into detail about this orbits and all those things in later, but just now you take this example. So all these electrons, they have certain fixed radius orbits associated with them, and each electron revolving in a particular orbit has certain fixed amount of energy associated with. So it will never be attracted towards the nucleus and spiral into it to get the electron and proton pair getting annihilated. So that explained the stability of the atom according to the Bohr's theory. And an extra thing which was given is that if any of these electrons, it is given some extra amount of energy from the outside, from an outside source, then it can move to a higher orbit. So if any of the electron revolving in a particular orbit is given some extra energy, it will absorb that energy and it will move to a higher orbit. And also the opposite will also, it is also true. So these electrons which is excited to a higher orbit, they cannot stay in that state for an indefinite period of time. So after a given period of time, they will lose that energy and drop down to their original state. Okay, and the same amount of energy will get released. Okay, so depending on in which orbit the electron is moving, it can move to any higher designated orbit with the absorption of certain amount of energy. Now this energy associated with the electrons in a particular atom, it is given by the mathematical expression this. Okay, so here it is given by the energy associated with an electron in an atom. So Niels Bohr, he gave this theory considering hydrogen atom. Okay, so the energies that an electron in a hydrogen atom can occupy, it is given by minus r subscript h to 1 by n square, where r subscript h is the Rydberg constant and is given by 2.18 into 10 to the power minus 18 joule, and n is the principal quantum number or the orbit number. Okay, the specific orbit number. For example, here this orbit, it is the first orbit with n is equal to 1, then this is the second orbit with n equals to 2, and the third orbit n equals to 3. So the KLM part will discuss later. Okay, so first, second, and third orbits, like that. So each electron in a particular orbit had a particular amount of energy associated with it, which is related to the principal quantum number or the orbit number, the specific orbit in which it is revolving. Okay, next is the difference between the energies between the initial and final states, which is related to electron excitation or dropping down of the electron. So it is given by the energy difference is the final energy state and the initial energy state. So here it is given by minus RH by 1 by nf square, which is same, which is the final orbit number, the final quantum number to which it got excited or it dropped down to, and Ni here is minus RH by 1 by Ni square, which is the initial orbit quantum number, the principal quantum number. So it is all as per this. So correspondingly, the energy difference can be calculated as final minus initial, which is given, the final expression is delta E is equal to RH into 1 by Ni square minus 1 by Nf square. So this transition between the higher or lower orbits or the initial and final orbits, it is accompanied with the emission of a light photon. Okay, the energy, it is in terms of light photon with the value h, where h is Planck's constant and mu is the frequency. Okay, so here we have tried to discuss the Bohr's atomic model and all the postulates related to it. So there are various other things related to the atomic structure. So this is just a good explanation related to atomic structure, taking into account the stability of the atom in terms of the movement of electrons around the nucleus, which could not be explained in Rutherford's and Chadwick's model. That's why the stability of the atom also could not be explained. So Bohr's atomic theory, it provided a solution to that, okay, in terms of its postulates, which explained why electrons, they moved around the nucleus and did not spiral into the nucleus or move into the nucleus, getting the electron proton pair annihilated, which could have could not have explained the stability of the atom. So this is the Bohr's atomic model which we just discussed. So I hope you like this video, and please subscribe my channel Engineering Tutorial for more such videos related to engineering, science and technology. Have a great day. Thank you very much.